Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Lincoln Park here across the street. Wait for this truck to turn. Yeah, we got a little wind. We'll see if it gets a little better once we get away from the lake and through the neighborhoods here. We got December the 3rd, 2025. There's Fullerton Parkway, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America. This is Clark Street right here. This is usually where we start our live streams. I live near here. Here's the, yeah, you can look down. Look how, yeah, you can see the visibility. So I know the John Hancock is 2 miles south of us. And so there's it's kind of low visibility. Lincoln Park. This snow we got on the ground, we got it on Saturday, the major dump, and then we got a few inches added to it in the subsequent days. Most of the sidewalks are pretty clear. A few people haven't cleared their block, and it's all matted down like this. Here, let me turn on the cameras here. Sorry. Eric, how you doing there? Jessica, Grandma's Corner, thanks for being on. And let's see, Wayne. Yeah, good morning, everybody. How you doing there? Yeah, happy, what is today? Wednesday? Today's already Wednesday. I'm just amazed how the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. We're on the cycle here. Is that right? Yeah, I went to work on Monday. I worked from home yesterday. Now it's Wednesday. Here, this is Cleveland Street. We're turning down Cleveland Street. We're just south of Fullerton here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Here, hold on a second. Yeah, I'll probably work from home tomorrow because it's supposed to get bitterly cold. Temperature's supposed to start dropping when I'm walking home from work tonight. I can deal with 10s and 20s. Once the wind chills start to go negative, my old age, you know, I'll go out and film it. I'll walk to the lake and film it in 0, but I ain't going to stay out in it for hours and hours. You know, you can dress in layers, but eventually that takes a toll. Keith Carter has a little clip. He's like, what do you think of Chicago winters? I'm like, you know, they're okay in December. By the time you get to March, you're pretty much done with it. And the winters are brutal and long enough to keep all the Florida Sunbelt people away, which is fine, you know. I like Florida. I like visiting there in the wintertime. I wouldn't want to live there. It's just my personal opinion. I have nothing against. I have relatives that live there. I have friends that live there. I want to visit them. Here's, especially now. My cousin Matt, you remember Matt, Matthew Klein with the tattoos. He lives near Pensacola now. Pensacola's in the Panhandle. I got other relatives that live near like Naples, like on the western shore of the main peninsula of Florida there. But hey, we're in Chicago. We're on Cleveland Street, heading to work on a Wednesday. We got 6:46 in the a.m., about 24 degrees. I got some wind. It'll be interesting once we get downtown around them tall buildings. Yeah, it's picturesque. Thanks for checking out the snow. Yeah, it's a beautiful neighborhood. That's why people tune in to see Lincoln Park. Other people in Chicago are like, get out of gentrified Lincoln Park. It's so expensive. We hate Lincoln Park. I understand that because it drives up real estate through the whole city, but we're not the only place. Maybe the downtown's more expensive than Lincoln Park, except if you're rich enough to own some of these larger estates. We got to find that house on Burling that has Christmas trees in every window. Somebody sent me a video of that, and we'll get over that way, just like we look for Halloween decorations in the fall. We look for Christmas decorations in December as we walk through these neighborhoods. That's kind of a personal question. No, I'm not gay. I assume that's what you're asking. Do you assume that everyone that lives on the north side of Chicago is gay? I think that stereotype's long been driven into the ground. I do film Boys Town. I do film North Halstead. I have a bunch of, just like most Americans or most people in the world, I have relatives on both sides of my family that are gay. We're gay. I'm friends and allies with them. People I work with are gay. Why is this such a big deal? I don't understand it. It's just like, to me, it's like something, just like if someone's black or white or different religion, or variety's the spice of life. As Woody Allen used to say, and I know he's a controversial figure, he says if you're bisexual, it doubles your chances for getting a date on Saturday night. So it's all, I'm pretty open-minded about this stuff. Are you random person I don't know, are you straight or gay? It's very important. That's the most important thing we got to discuss right now. Yeah, it's the whole world hinges upon your answer there. Yeah, thank you. Who you voted for and the whole history of humanity, your whole eternal life and damnation depends on how you answer this question. Thanks for tuning in. Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. Yeah. Oh, you thought my voice was hot. Yeah, I should start an OnlyFans site for my voice. Maybe I can make some money. Put some reverb. You can sit on the speaker. You know, Howard Stern used to do that. Isn't it amazing that Howard Stern, I try to run this like a radio station. Just the image of a naked woman in his studio sitting on a speaker, people tuned into his radio station to listen to that. And they visualized it in their mind. You couldn't see the image because it was before entertainment, ETV would show the videos of him and Robin with the people in the set. And the power of imagination, yeah, you can go a long way. You create a picture in somebody's mind. Hey, here's some Christmas decorations. It might be worth it to cross the street and check out these Christmas decorations. Yeah, look at that. That's the Hallmark Channel right there. Look at this beautiful residential house here, Lincoln Park, Webster, and Cleveland Street. Looks nice with the snow. You got the garland. Yeah, the snow on the garland. That's not fake snow. That's real snow. That's every Hollywood movie tries to create this, where you got snow on the garland with the Christmas lights and the bows. This is why I like the Four Seasons of Chicago. People are like, how can you live in Chicago? It's so cold in winter. This is why. Look how beautiful this looks. And you can get this in Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, North, South Dakota, Canada. It's not like so many Americans have moved to places where you don't experience a true winter anymore, that it'll be rainy and 40 degrees and that'll be your winter. Oh, it's so dreary. I got to put on a jacket. Oh. What if you get to heaven and it's like the North Pole and there's snow all the time? You're like, I thought heaven was like a beach. I thought heaven was like Bora Bora. Bora Bora Bora. Who misses the TV show Orange is the New Black? I remember that was 10 years ago. That was the big thing. Now we're blowing up boats in the middle of the ocean and people are clinging to the side of the boats, and then U.S. excess like, blow it up again. I'm trial, jury, and executioner. And then the current president pardons a narco-terrorist that flooded the United States with hundreds of tons of cocaine on the same day as they're blowing up boats in the middle. And people are like, Brian, stop talking about politics. I'm like, this is a bizarro world. You know, it doesn't make any sense. I don't care. You know, I just would like to see some conservative, which, you know, I have a lot of my relatives and friends who fall in this category. A true conservative Christian explain why some murders are okay and other murders are not. You know, what would Jesus say? You know, the least among us, you know. I know it's hard. It's hard when these are hard dilemmas. And I'm not trying to preach from my bully pulpit here. I'm just walking to work. These are the dilemmas of the modern age. But hey, I'm missing all the comments here. Any more important sexuality issues we have to discuss? You want me to remove you from your friends list? B.O. Riddle, are you asking me to remove you from your friends? Is that what you're asking me, or are you talking to somebody else? Isn't it amazing, of all the comments, I missed like 100 comments, and the one I see, someone's like, remove me. Oh, you can remove, you can you can remove me from your friends list, then you won't have to see my content. And I'm no hard feelings, it's fine. So here, we'll cross the Lincoln. This light always confuses me. If you see, look, we got two ways we can't go, and we got one way we can. So we'll cross Cleveland here, and what time is it? What time is it where you're at? We're in the Central Time Zone, North America. Maybe you could we got all this technology on your phones where you could say Chicago, you could say, what's the time in Chicago? You can ask All billionaires have made so much profit off creating this thing called where you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm watching a live stream in Chicago. What time is it in Chicago? And it'll tell you what time it is in Chicago. Can you believe that? Isn't it amazing that we got this technology on your phone that you're watching right now? And instead of using it, you're asking me to do it for you. And I can do it. I can easily tell you the time. I know what time it is. I know people tune in from different time zones. It's great. This shows you technology is not making us smarter. It's making us dumber. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying I'm dumb. I'm dumb for live streaming on this platform. I wake up in the mirror. I'm like, how did I become a live streamer? I'm everything I loathe. People think I'm like an influencer. I don't want to influence. I just want to walk to work. Actually, I don't want to walk to work. I want to retire. Here's Cleveland Street, Chicago, Illinois. I'm not angry. This is how I deal with life. I get excited and riled up and point out the absurdities of life. The absurdity that, look, there's no one on this street. Everybody's sleeping, working from home. I'm the only one walking to work. I'll get to the office. There'll be 5 people in the office. We got people that live 10 blocks from my office that work from home the entire winter. And I don't blame them. That's great. Isn't that great that we all work from home and sit in our pajamas all day and stock market goes up and yeah, we're living in paradise here. Hey, look at the snow. You see how you can put the snow in the thing there? Yeah, 23 degrees there. Thanks, Shauna, for being on. Thanks, Grandma's Corner. Yeah, we got a shovel. Yeah, so we're talking about shoveling snow. What's all this white stuff on the ground? What is this? I never, look, there's yellow snow. Yeah, it's like a lemonade slushy there. You can scoop it up with your hand and sip it. It's great. It's manna from heaven. Here's this is Armitage and Cleveland Street. Hey, I saw, isn't it amazing how well covered the Lincoln Park Zoo lights are, which is great, and I'm part of it. I'm pointing out, I'm glad that we were able to go there and see the vendors selling their recycled, like, they took old blue jeans and made purses and handbags out of it, and they took, I like the woman that took old beer cartons, like the IPAs, like Three Floyds and Gumball and stuff, and she made notebook covers out of it, and it's like a mead notebook there, you took all the ornaments that were made. Somebody took old silverware and made clips out of it. All the recycled clothing. There was paper dolls. A lot of fun stuff there with the vendors at the Lincoln Park Zoo. Hey, the dog hears me coming here. How you doing there, doggy? Get that live streamer guy talking into a phone. Good morning. Yeah, check out the snow here. Heading down Cleveland Street. Thanks. Good morning. We got about 24 degrees. Hey, good morning. That's fine. How you doing there? Your dog sees some person talking into the phone there. I know, it's good. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm used to it. That's good. Have a good day. Good morning. That's good. So here, friends and neighbors. And no. The dog's fine. The dog does what a dog does. But here's Cleveland Street. 24 degrees, December the 3rd. Yeah, I think they're going to light. I saw Christopher Dotson was showing the Christmas tree at the Rockefeller Plaza in New York. The Christopher Dotson live streams in New York. I remember years past, All Day New York City, and other people would cover that. The lighting, just like we did in Millennium Park. Hopefully he has better cell phone reception than I had, because I think they cut it off. They somehow jammed it in Chicago. But yeah, I think they're going to light the Rockefeller Christmas tree in New York City tonight, December the 3rd. I thought they did it December the 5th, but I think it crept up to December the 3rd. Why would they do it on a Wednesday? That's weird. But I have to double check that. But if you missed it, we went to the Wiener Circle yesterday. They were handing out free hot dogs because Ben Johnson, the coach of the Bears, ripped off his shirt after they beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Friday, and there was a standing bet with the Wiener Circle, and they set this up. They staged this. Wiener Circle is smart with playing the media. Not that they're playing the media, using the media to their advantage for free advertising. They announced a 2,000 hot dog giveaway 11 a.m. yesterday. So I took the bait. I went over there, created some content. All the news people were there. There was a line around the block to get hot dogs. There's a snowman. Hey, so there's a snowman. And I guess that's like the little pet. There's a little snow baby. Yeah, there's snow babies. I saw Lux, Chicago Vista. She built a snowman on her balcony with a nice view there. And she's got a good location there. She just filmed from her balcony. But here's, well, she walks around a lot too. She was streaming yesterday. I saw her out and about. Here's another fellow Chicago live streamer. Here's, yeah, the wreath there. Cleveland Street. Lincoln Park, Chicago. How's everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in to YouTube. But what else is going on? Let's see. Yeah, it's nice and quiet. Nice and quiet. Yeah. So there'll be more houses decorated. Tonight we should see. We'll walk through the Gold Coast and the Old Town on the way back. Oh, did you see Jennifer? You Should Eat? She was covering. There was a fire. There was a fire. Let's go by there. I'm glad I almost forgot about that. There was a fire on Wells Street, Jennifer, yesterday, December the 2nd. Today's December the 3rd. Jen was covering it like a news reporter. She did a great job. She went out there and got some close in. It was near the bottom. It might all be boarded up. Hopefully they boarded it up, so we'll do a follow-up. I was looking at the pilot's page. Supposedly he had some action shots where you could see flames, but I missed his live when he streamed it, if that's what he did, and I didn't see any rerun, but maybe I'll go back to it today. Maybe it's posted now. Sometimes there's a lag time. I had the same problem. Sometimes you stream something and you can't edit the clips right away because it's processing. You'll go to your reruns on TikTok and it'll say processing, and you gotta wait till it's over. Kevin Gallagher's, yeah, I'm walking to work. I appreciate the request. We get requests to go to the home house a lot. Home Alone house is not even in Chicago. It's in the suburbs north of the city. It's towards Lake County. You can look up the exact address again online. The information's at your fingertips there. It's about 15 miles north of me, so I don't have a car, and I'm not taking transit up there. I'm walking to work. I got a day job. You or TikTokers not paying me more than my architecture and engineering job to just walk around and film Home Alone houses. I appreciate your request. There's beautiful housing up there. I'm sure there's other people that have already filmed it. My nephew has the Lego set. I got a rerun of the Lego McAllister or Kevin's house there, where they even have like the Michael Jordan spinning around with the Christmas tree. They even have the tree house. They got the guy breaking in the back. They got the van that they use. It's a pretty nice Lego set there if you ever get the Home Alone Lego house there. But yeah, it's the nicest that movie's associated with Chicago. So many of those movies and the Kevin Hughes movies and all those 80s sitcoms we talk about. Menominee and Hudson here. Lincoln Park, Chicago. There's the Midwest Buddhist Temple. Hey, let's get out here. Smith's Gary building, this nice timber. This used to be a German butcher shop originally. Ogden Avenue used to run through at an angle. Then they would free up this land for the Midwest Buddhist Center Temple in this little park. This is Hudson Street, Hudson and Menominee. That's the names of the streets where you can find this Midwest Buddhist Temple. It looks nice in the snow. Here, I'll slide down I'm sled riding here. You can play chess in the snow. Yeah, let's head straight over to Wells Street. Let's see if we can get this building that there was a fire yesterday. Yeah, Sean at Grandma's Corner there, Robert. Okay, so the Christmas Story house. Okay, that's a great question. Please, people, correct me because I don't. I'm speaking off the top of my head. I don't have all the information here. I'm walking down the street. Christmas Story, I think, is generally set in Northwest Indiana, either Hammond or Gary. That's why they get so much snow. they always would get that lake effect snow, and those areas do get more snow than Chicago, typically. And Michigan side of the lake does as well. I think some of the opening scenes of A Christmas Story were actually filmed in Cleveland. They used the Tower Square there in Cleveland, and some of the scenes where they go, it was supposed to be downtown Gary, where they went to downtown Gary to visit the Santa Claus and the Goldblatts or whatever department store they went to in the movie, the Christmas Story movie. They show 24 hours every Christmas. And there's Margie still. That'd be interesting if we could find, if I have time today, I'll look to see if the actual street that they used in the movie, where that was at. And it might have been Cleveland. But it was supposed to be set near Chicago, and that's why I always muse at the end of the movie when they go to the Chinese restaurant for their Christmas meal. I wonder if that was the Chinatown in Chicago, because the Chinatown in Chicago did exist in the 1940s when that movie was set, the late 1940s. I think it was set right after World War II was over. These are workmen's cottage, these are relief shanties. This is one of the last remaining relief shanties that was built after the Great Chicago Fire, 1871. It's right here on Menominee, and just past Sedgwick here. We're heading down the street here. Sorry. I'm just trying to walk down the street here. But hey, see, people are getting ready. People are still heading to school and heading to work. And we'll head down Menominee. We'll check out where, I think this building is where the fire was at. So Jennifer You Should Eat was covering that. We're on Menominee. We're heading through the Old Town Triangle Historic District, Chicago, Illinois. We got about 24 degrees. We're talking about Christmas movies set in Chicago because of the snow. Here's the, oops, let me get off the street here. Brick sidewalks. That's called Orleans Street. This is Menominee. Yeah, thanks, Robert. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Phil Goodyear. We all learn from each other. You know, I don't have all the information. People ask questions. If I seem annoyed or frustrated or flippant or sarcastic, I apologize. I know I rub people the wrong way. I come off as annoying, and some people get my humor and other people don't, and I understand. If I seem short or my response, it's because I get these questions. I've been streaming in some form for like the past 3 years, and it's amazing how often you get the same questions over and over again, and then you forget about them until you get back to Christmas time, and then you got all the same questions you got the last Christmas and the 3 before that. And I don't mean to be like the old dad driving the car and everybody's like, Dad, what's this? Dad, what's that? And I'm like, shut up, kids, I'm driving. You know, that's what it is, you know. And I don't even have kids, but I am like old enough to be a grandfather. Oh yeah, I saw it. One of my friends and followers, she posted a video. It is funny. She's 26, 27. I think she just turned 27, and she's like, "What's up with all these Gen Z and Gen Alpha and whatever? They think we're old and we're 27." She goes, "It's because we go to bed at 9 and we don't go out on the weekends like we used to. And you know, wait till you get to your 30s. You know, you'll still party. You'll just party in different ways. You know." And I think it's a double edged where we had the luxury in the 90s where we partied, but the internet was just getting started, so it was completely different than it is now. You know, it wasn't like social media. Everybody we didn't even have cell phones. Most people didn't have. Their first cell phone happened in the 90s. You know, and it was this big Nokia thing that didn't do anything. You could just make a call and it showed the time. There was no cameras in the phones at that time, and you couldn't even like get the news on your phone. It was just a phone, but it wasn't as expensive to go out and drink. You know, the price of alcohol wasn't as expensive as this now. You know, you can go out tonight and act like a high roller. You could spend $1,000 just partying in one night, or several $100s. That's fine if you do it every once in a while, but you can't do it every weekend unless you're Bitcoin rich or something. You know. And that you know, that's why people, you know, and I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it as well, as we changed our priorities after the pandemic. At least I had. So is it this building? No. Is it this building? There was a fire in one of these buildings. I think it's further down here. building. It looked like this building. There it is, boarded up. There it is. So there's where the fire was. So Jennifer, you should eat yesterday. I saw some of you watching her live yesterday. That's the windows. Those windows were all boarded out yesterday. Here, if you're just joining, we're in Chicago. We're on Wells Street. This is Old Town. We're south of Lincoln, and we're north of North Avenue. I know that's strange. We see this building. Jennifer was talking about how this building changed from condo to back to apartments, and the reason why. But there was a fire there on the 3rd floor, or the 4th floor, whatever that is, and they got it all boarded. So it was just basically one unit. When she filmed it yesterday, all the fire trucks were here and the windows were busted out, but they got them boarded up, and thankfully, look, it was, see, fireproof construction. It contained that fire within that one unit. I'm sure these might have been affected, but it didn't destroy the whole building. And Chicago, despite all its other problems, does have good fire safety codes, sprinklers, and fireproof construction. I've seen many condo buildings burn like that, where one unit would completely burn out, but the building wouldn't, because it's concrete reinforced construction. There may be, you know, that's why you close your doors. You close your doors where the stairwells, you don't leave them propped open because it draws the fire up the different floors. There's Eugenie Terrace. Remember, we went to the top of there. Jeremy, the pilot, we saw the air and water show up there. That branch is in the way. That pool up there. That pool up there. Oh, come on, the tree keeps getting in the way. That pool up there on Eugenie Terrace. But there's where the fire was on Wells Street. What time we got here? 7:09, 24 degrees, Chicago, Illinois, Wells Street. Wells in St. Paul Street. Yeah, Illinois. We're in Illinois. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Rose is tuning in there. Phil, let's see, Grandma's Corner. Lovely. Robert. Hey, listen, I got a great story. Now every time somebody mentions O-Block, this is what I get to say. I have gone O-Block several times. Listen to what happened. TikTok, when they went through their recent terms and conditions update, you can go right now, go to my TikTok page, pinned to the top is one of my King Von mural O-Block, where we walked down 63rd and MLK. I took the green line there. I don't have a car. Rode a bike down the street. The grocery store, or the little convenience mart across the way, has the King Von across from O-Block, Parkway Gardens. TikTok has deemed every video I produced, it happened all one night. Several videos, not just one, several. This shows it's specific to O-Block. TikTok is censoring O-Block. TikTok is censoring O-Block. You hear what I'm saying? TikTok says that O-Block videos cannot be monetized and will not go to the For You page. TikTok will not pay people. So go try it. Go film O-Block and go post it to TikTok and see if they give you a violation. This will just add to the allure of O-Block, because O-Block has become so politically charged that TikTok has chose not to make money off of content about O-Block. You hear what I'm saying? So, yeah, bring up O-Block. I get to bash TikTok every time, because I got videos of O-Block. I've gone there. We do the South Side. I got hundreds of videos of the South and West Side. And as Ernesto and as Jay's City Walking Girl, who do live on the South Side of Chicago, where do they mostly film? Downtown, the tourist areas, just like me. Because when I go to the South Side, a lot of people in the South Side and West Side have interest in it. But I don't get as much viewership as I do filming the tourist stuff downtown. That's not my fault. That's what people want to watch, you know. And I know you're interested in O-Block. I'm interested in O-Block, but there's so much content about O-Block. There's videos on YouTube with hundreds and thousands, millions of views. You know, I'm not going to be able to compete with that. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. I wonder if 200 years from now, my head will be in a jar and people will still be like, go to O-Block. I'm like, you know, that happened 250 years ago when Odie Perry was murdered because there was a gang warfare between the gangster disciples and the black gangster disciples. Here's Moonstar Cochran's Bar and Grill. Jen was talking about this. So we don't know, they want to build a 35-story condo building there. We don't know how it's going to impact this alley. Here's Professor Pizza. Jennifer, you should eat, recommends Professor Pizza, so she's a good judge of Chicago-style pizza. So we'll check this out here. Here we'll cross Wells Street. Wells and North Avenue, Old Town. Yeah, Stanley Tigerman designed this Walgreens. Supposedly it's probably the most architecturally significant Walgreens ever produced. There's the Second City, all the improv stuff there. Are you asking how old I am? Yeah, I'm old. I'm 49 years old. I'm old. So yeah, that's why I said my friend that's 27, that the Gen Z and Alpha, whatever, thinks she's old. She's 27. What do they think I am? I'm 49. I'm going to turn 50 next year, you know? But here's North Avenue. Yeah, we'll head down Wells Street here. Old Town. Old Town, Wells Street. 713. Yeah, Walgreens. You're 23, that's good. Well, thanks for tuning in. I do my analysis of the demographics of people that watch my channel, and the people that do watch my channel do lean towards the upper end of the age spectrum. Very few young people watch my content, which is understandable because, you know, that's why I don't relate to all the memes and stuff. But I guess me being on this platform helps keep me young. I do discover music and stuff. And I do still go to Lollapalooza. I know that's kind of commercialized. You should go to the Riot Fest or some of the other EDM festivals. Here's Merci Beaucoup Bookshop, Old Town Oil. It's called the Slant of Light Books. There's a bookstore over here. Here's the Zany's Comedy Club here, Old Town. Coming soon, Merci Beaucoup pop-up shop. Good, they're going to use this storefront for a holiday pop-up shop. Here's Woody's, the sports bar. Look, they took away all the outdoor seating. So they left it out until almost Thanksgiving. Here's the Red Orchid Theater, Wells Street, Kamahachi Sushi. Thanks again to Bob for the great sushi meal there. The Birds of North America, directed by artistic director Anna Monick. Kristen Fitzgerald, The Birds of North America, January 15th here at the Red Orchid Theater. There's the Fudge Pot. But here, the big, they still got their outdoor seating. Huh. I know he's going to sit outside for the next several months. I wouldn't say. Right on, Shauna. Right on. Yeah, what's real, what's fake? David, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Columbia's tuning in. That's good. We get people tuning in from all over the world and universe. Very nice. There you go, the Skin Bar here and studio. Hey, walking down Wells Street. Well, let's cut over Burton Place here. I think they got the Christmas tree. It seemed like a month ago they lit the tree. Here's the Frame Hamlet. Oops, there you go. Now the Chicago, welcome Chicago, United States of America, planet Earth here. We're heading down Wells Street. We'll cut over Burton Place, walking to work here, streaming on YouTube. Thanks everybody who watched last night. Yeah, I saw Alexander Chicago was in the Lincoln Park Zoo after I was, and Ernesto was there Monday, Jose was there, and even Steve Lyon was there. So the Lincoln Park Zoo lights are well covered by Chicago live streamers. Look at all the snowmen. So these snowmen weren't here. Well, I guess they were here. This is, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. This is the Burton Place Square. They lit this tree. I got a rerun where we did the countdown. They lit this tree. There's a snowman, but it's facing the other way. Let's see what it looks like here. But here, look, all the snowmen lined up. Yeah, this is Burton Place here, Winter Wonderland, Chicago, Illinois, North Side. That's the interesting snowman. It looks like a Slimer. It's a Slimer snowman from the Ghostbusters. Yeah, it's lovely. Thailand's tuning in here. Yeah, what do you think of the snow? Puerto Rico, how you doing there? Yeah, God bless Puerto Rico. It's part of America. Isn't it amazing how many Americans don't realize Puerto Rico is part of America? I don't even know if the president realizes it. I'm joking. That's a joke. Remember when we used to be able to joke about our presidents and people would laugh? I miss those days. Here's, I used to make jokes about Biden and people would laugh, and especially about his son. That shows you the fundamental, dilemmas of the Democratic Party. They chose to go with Biden in 2020, knowing that his family had horrible problems, corruption problems with his son. But they still realized that that was probably their best chance of possibly defeating Donald Trump in 2020 with Biden. But then Biden came with so much baggage that I think Biden's baggage cost him his re-election, and that's why he had to bow out, because of his son and his other problems, which he did have problems. Biden had problems. You're in Washington for too long, you're going to have some dirt on you. I don't care if you're Clinton's, Bush's, Trump's, or Biden's, you're going to have some dirt on you. You are. Because powerful people have to make questionable decisions all the time. And here, this is LaSalle Street. And then their family gets involved, and the family gets corrupt. You know, and it's the nature of nepotism and business ties and conflicts of interest. Maybe that car's turning around there, so good. So here, this is LaSalle Street. This is, we'll head through Sandburg Village. We'll go over to the Gold Coast. We'll see if there's any Christmas decorations out here. So hey, we left Old Town, Burton Place there, the old, what's his name? I always lose his name. It's always on the tip of my tongue. That's what shows you with the Carl Street Studios there. But there's, hey, one Golden Nubian. Hey, thanks for joining the super fans there last night on TikTok. So yeah, we did content on YouTube last night at Link Park Zoo, and then we switched over to TikTok. I'll still go on TikTok. TikTok's now for, normally I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays on YouTube, morning, noon, and night. If I stream on weekends or late at night or weird times, like when we filmed the Wiener Circle at like 11:15 yesterday, that's when I'll do TikTok. And I do sub only because I don't expect my moderators to have to moderate TikTok. And so the super chat kind of takes care of that. And I know it frustrates people. I get messages all the time. People are like, why can't I comment on your TikTok live? I said, you obviously don't watch me on YouTube. I said, you can watch on YouTube, comment for free like you are now. I got my moderators, and we're going to town. India's tuning in. That's great. You hear the wind? It's getting windy around these tall buildings. Now, I'm not trying to ignore you. Am I beholden to answer every single question? No, that's not how this works. This is my show. I get to choose which questions I answer or not. If I choose not to answer your question, yeah, you consider that ignoring you, but I don't have to answer. I'm not legally obligated to answer every question you ask. I'm not a GPT chat box. Give me some autonomy and humanity. I'll treat you with respect. You treat me with respect, please. Thanks for tuning in here. See, it always could be worse. It always could be worse. As bad as you think your situation is in life, as depressed as you are, it always could be worse. And count your blessings, you know, and just try to appreciate the simple beauty of snow and being able to be alive and you know, have a nice meal. And look, somebody lost their snow there, or their hat. Hey, we got snow on the garland here, snow in the boxes here. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. This is called Burton Place, the street. We're about to Dearborn Street. This is called the Gold Coast. This is one of the most expensive. It's not really gentrified because it always was a wealthy, new money neighborhood. After the Great Chicago Fire, people flocked to this area to build these nice, stately brownstones to show that they made it in the new America there in the Gilded Age, the late 1800s. And they displayed their wealth through their houses, generational wealth that would be passed down until their heirs got tired of these old architectural styles and stole it to developers in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And then they built the high-rise condo buildings because real estate values the proximity to downtown. But we still have a lot of these beautiful vintage, some of the best built buildings in my opinion, the United States, as far as quality-wise. Fireproof construction, good materials. The architects were top-notch. Daniel Burnham, John Wellborn Root used to live on Astor Street. Andrew Robori, all these amazing architects that contribute to this area of Chicago. Schmidt. Schwartz, all these amazing architects. Here's even Ives Cobb and William Sumner Frost. Here's yeah, we're on Dearborn Street, Lincoln Park, or no, this is Gold Coast. We started in the Lincoln Park. We're heading south towards the downtown here. Good eats, yeah. Hey, you can check out Steve Lyon, you can check out Keys Carter, and even Nia Azel. I saw that Jody GTV is doing a lot of food recommendations, because I know people request all live streamers to do food recommendations. Watch Jody GTV. He's got some good. Watch Ed Ray Ray. Ed Ray Ray is a true food critic. In my opinion, he knows the restaurant and bar business. He's associated with several bars and restaurants in this city. Ed Ray Ray. Check out his content. He'll show you the best places to eat, and he's a great guy. We ran into him at King of Cups there, and he showed us Brando's at that karaoke place. We need to go back to Brando's to see if they got that speakeasy open. He gave us a sneak peek. It was behind the bar there. But let's see if we run into Ed Ray Ray. But yeah, I just walk to work. I show like changing of the seasons, and we talk about architecture and city planning and city life stuff. I film a lot of free cultural events, parades, zoos. I mean, you know, real snooze fest stuff. My content's so controversial. I know every once in a while I delve into politics, which shocks people, my non-mainstream political views, but we got a lot of mainstream political views in this nation, both on the right and the left. Hey, we're gonna, you know, now that we're in December, we'll start looking for Christmas decorations. I know I don't get every comment, and that's why people that, you know, I appreciate that people want to comment on my content and they want me to react to it. I appreciate that. That's a good problem to have. Even if I allowed all the comments on TikTok, I wouldn't be able to see them all. There's no way I could reply to them. I saw when Steve Lyon had 2,000 people in his chat, the comments were flying by so fast, he couldn't even read them and respond to them. So what's the point? What's the point of having a chat when it goes by so fast that you can't even react to it? And you see like every 20th comment, and usually those are the ones you don't want to see. It's like, you suck. And then like the 19 before it were like, hey, you're doing a great job. And then the one you see is like, you suck, I hate your guts. You know, I'm stalking you, you're going to die. You know, and you're like, why did someone write that? You know, but people do, you know. And as much as you think that I'm just the wrong type of personality, as much as you think you could ignore the comments, that words don't hurt your emotions, you know, think of people, politicians, people go after their families and death threats, and people in Congress have death threats. The Supreme Court has death threats. You know, political violence is always lurking in the background of every country, and we should resist it. I'm against political violence. So we should have the discussion, the debate. It was horrible what happened to Charlie Kirk, and that's what's driving a lot of this. Here's even if you didn't agree with them, you know, I'm like Voltaire. If you don't know who Voltaire is, look him up there. Here, this is Dearborn Street, Gold Coast, Chicago. We're south of Schiller. We're north of Goethe. Goethe is a German language, right? And look up Goethe too. See if you know how to spell Goethe. Here's I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. Here's look at the keyhole windows here. That was always an apartment, 3 flat. Look at that, they got the nice Christmas tree in the window. Here at Gold Coast, Chicago, Dearborn Street, the nice stately townhomes. Share the walls. See, it helps with you don't have to heat escaping the side of your building. These are more energy, and they actually cool better too. And they got a little, most of these, they got a courtyard in the back and a little coach house with a garage. And they'll put a fountain back there, and you have your little private courtyard in the back. Here's 3 Arts Club. This is RH Furniture restored this. This was the 3 Arts Club. And there's 3 Arts Club Cafe in there. You go in there and check out the furniture. I recommend going in there and just checking out the building. You can go up to the roof. They got a roof deck. I'll go up there this spring. I all these years, I used to go up to that roof deck before I live stream, and just like look at the views. But I haven't gone up there because you have to go up the elevator. So I'll figure out a way to do it. Maybe I can go up the stairs. I just have to figure out how to wind my way up there through the stairs so I won't lose my connection in the elevator. There's times where I've tried to like take an elevator to go to a rooftop, and I've had like 400 people like watching. This was like on TikTok. And so I go in the elevator. I tell my mods, I'm like, I'm gonna go in the elevator. I'll be gone for 30 seconds. I'll be back. And then, so I take the elevator. We get to the top, and then I go out, and I lost my audience by 200. Like 200 people left the chat because I went dark for 10 seconds. And that's what happens when you live. You can lose your audience because our attention spans are shot. All of us. Here, we'll head down Wells Street here. Here's coming out of the garage. Or this is, I'm wrong. This is Dearborn Street. We were on Wells Street. This is Dearborn Street, Gold Coast, Chicago. Hey, there's some Christmas decorations. Cows. What is Cows? This is the restaurant here. Claire Ridge House. Hey, look at the nice stained glass window, the housing here, the snow, Gold Coast, Chicago, Cobbot House. Got the menorah. Hey, they'll start lighting the menorah later this month. We got to find out when Hanukkah is. Here's yeah, good morning, Lambie. How you doing there? Angie's tuning in. Christy, how's everybody? Hey, good morning. How you doing there? No, I've never stayed in the Trump Tower, and I live in Chicago. I don't think I've stayed in many hotels. If I stay in any hotel, and I might do it later this winter, I'll book a room in the Intercontinental Hotel because they got that pool on the 17th floor. And it's pretty nice, but I'm sure, you know, they got that roof deck on the 16th floor. You know, you can expect. I'm not a big fan of current administration, but even before that, when they built that building even before he was president the first time. They built it in 2009. I remember, like, in 2010, and we were in a recession still then. That was still a great recession. And I went, that rooftop 16 story was open. I just stopped drinking, and I ordered about 10 Diet Cokes. They charged me for every single one, $8 for every single Diet Coke. $80 for 10 Diet Cokes, which, how could I drink 10 Diet Cokes? They were little tiny glasses, and we were there for 2 hours while my friends were drinking. My friends were drinking the entire time, spent $100 on Trump alcohol, and I'm like, you're going to charge me. I basically drank a 2-liter of Diet Pepsi, and they're going to charge me $80 for it, so I never went back. And that was before he was president, so, you know, I'm sure it's more expensive now, and everything's expensive, and it's not just that bar.
Brian.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing? That's good, yeah. Thank you, that's good. Friends and neighbors there saying hello. Yeah. So here, we'll go by Mother's. Thanks, Phil Goodyear. Yeah, Phil's, you've been around long enough that usually when people ask me those questions, usually I break down and start ranting and screaming like a crazy liberal, you know, liberal tears and, oh, you know, owning the libs. And that's, most of those are gotcha questions that get me, because I'm a highly emotional person. I'm, you know, as a man, you're supposed to be stoic. You're not supposed to show your true emotion. You're supposed to be Machiavellian and conniving. No, I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about Machiavellian. Anybody can be Machiavellian, men, women, children. But now I'm kind of, it took me a while to get all that out of my system, and now I see, because we've seen these comments 100 times. It's easy, you know, even me, as unique as an idea, I think the idea came from somewhere else and got in my brain and just sloshes around the marketplace of ideas, you know. All I'm saying is, same as me, like I'll have an original thought, or I'm the first person to think of something, and there was 1,000 people to think of it before me and say it better than I had. Here, let's cross, this is State Street. See, there's an Andrew Obori Art Moderne. See that glass block? That was built in 1936. This is State Street. So State and Division here. We'll leave the Gold Coast and we'll head over to Rush Street. So the lake's that way, and there's Division Street, State Street. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, I agree with that. If the wind not blowing does help. You know, I can deal with 20 degrees if it's not windy. Sometimes it gets windy around these tall buildings. I can feel the heat coming. This is the subway, the Red Line subway is underneath us, and I can feel the heat coming out of the tunnel there. It's warmer. The air is warmer like a cave. You hear the subway underneath us there. This is State Street. This red line subway is underneath us. Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, this is a nice building. This has been vacant for a long time. This was a Barnes & Noble. And there's just not demand for big box retail. Except for there's demand for luxury stuff. You know. Yeah, Chicago architecture. That's helps my job. I think, yeah, that's why I associate my name with Chicago. We talk about Chicago architecture, Chicago history, Chicago built environment, how neighbors changed over time, because despite our architecture, cities are made up of people. The people that live in these buildings change over time because the people that build them are long gone, and there's new generations that move in from different areas. Other people that lived here move out to the suburbs or Florida or Texas, and the cycle continues. And new people move in from other areas. And as many people have left Chicago, as many people have moved in. Same with New York. And New York, Chicago, LA, California did lose significant amounts of population post-pandemic, but now it's kind of leveled off. That's why we're with my father, we're tentatively planning a Texas trip for the end of December here. We might stop in Dallas on the way down there and maybe stop at the Fort Worth Stockyards. And then we'll get to Houston, because that's where my family lives, the suburbs of Houston. And then we'll spend Christmas and New Year's with them. I want to get down to Galveston for sure. I want to get, if I go that close to the coast, I want to go to a beach town or something. We went to Corpus Christi last year. I don't know if I have time to go over to Austin. I would like to go to Austin again. I went there 2 years ago, and we live streamed in Austin. I would like to do some more live, because their downtown has grown so much that I think their skyline, I think Austin's skyline is as large as Houston's or Dallas's right now. And Austin's skyline is much larger than, it's like starting to rival Atlanta. I mean, I'm serious. Like, Atlanta has an impressive skyline. It's all spread out along Priestley Street, but you know, Seattle has an impressive skyline. I remember when I first went to Austin 25 years ago, its skyline was like Indianapolis. It wasn't that impressive, you know. Nothing against Indianapolis. It has a nice downtown. I like the canal, and I like the Legionnaires Mall, and you know, Indianapolis has some nice buildings as well. But it's just not large enough. You know, you compare it to other, like Seattle has a lot of people live downtown. Austin, people are living downtown. You know, there's a lot of that is residential. The tallest buildings in Austin are residential buildings. Just like now, the tallest buildings in Manhattan are residential buildings. They're not commercial. It shows you there's more demand for housing in downtowns than there is for commercial office space. And a lot of the commercial office space in Chicago has been converted to housing. It still is continuing. You know, with the LaSalle, the Field building. But here we're on Rush Street. This is Chicago. We're across from Gibson Steakhouse here. There's Mariana Park. And we'll go by Oak Street and Rush. Hugo's Frog Bar, Chicago, Illinois. United States of America, planet Earth, Illinois. Did I say that? We got 24 degrees. We got 7:36 in the PM. Hey, I like that herringbone dress there, yeah. So why are the dresses so skimpy at Christmas time? I like it. No, I'm joking. Here's, gotta cover those legs. There, here we go. Here's some more ski fashion here. Yeah, get your ski patrol. We'll do some window shopping here on Rush Street. Yeah, somebody's in there. Oh, Prada. That's what the devil wore. How you doing there, Prada models? Cartier, Hermes. What time we got here? 7:37. Yeah, I better take the shortest route here. Hey, but look how pretty Oak Street looks. So pretty this time of year with the lights and the snow and the bows and the garland, and look at that. Yeah, very nice. The Esquire Theater, Hermes, Cartier, Balancina, Balancina, Mont Blanc. Oh, you just walked past me. Hey, by La Colombe there. Thanks, Charles. Is it Charles? Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Dana White. Yeah. Hey, everybody. How you doing here? Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Rush Street. Remember when La Passage, the nightclub, used to be down there? Yeah. you doing there, Deep Alicia? Hey, look at those. That's Versace, Kristen Dior. Yeah, Versace, Dior. Here we'll cross Walton Street. 900 North Michigan's that way. There's the Waldorf Astoria in Chicago. The hotels on the other side. That's housing. So most of these are housing. See, even the Trump Tower is mostly housing. Trump Tower is mostly housing. Second tallest building in Chicago. Oh, we missed the bus. Look at the Super Puff. Get your Super Puff coat. What's with the horns here? Engineering's required, yeah. Yeah, we get older, they stay the same age. You said that. That's from Dazed and Confused. I know that's a sexist comment, but that's why people remember it. Here's Tesla store. This is Tesla store. Chicago, Illinois. Fresh Street. Heading to work. Wally Phillips Way. Wally World. That's why I asked, I was like, who's the most famous Chicagoan? They said the Griswolds from National Lampoons. I said, yeah, you're right. Go to Wally World. Yeah, nice weather. You must be tuning in from Florida. Hey, if it makes you feel better, I like how people feel all superior. They get to tune into Chicago and feel like they're better than all the Chicagoans because they don't live in Chicago and they don't have to deal with this weather. So, hey, if we make your day that way, congratulations. You're certainly a better person than I am. Yeah, you could be, and I'm just so thankful. My self-worth doesn't rely on what you think about me. That's great. To thine own self be true. Different strokes for different folks. I like the snow in the cold winters because it keeps, like all the Chicago gatekeepers that are so worried about Chicago becoming like Miami or Austin, where everybody want to flock up here and drive up real estate values, which real estate values are high enough as it is. And that's why there's all these Chicago gatekeepers thinking if they could keep people away and make Chicago become like Detroit. Not that Detroit's bad, Detroit's coming back, but you know what I mean, all hollowed out and destroyed, disposable city. Isn't it interesting? America is like the Wild West towns or the old Gary, Indiana, the industrial boom town. We would build cities and just abandon them. We did it in the Wild West. We did it with mining towns. We did it with Gary, Indiana, which was a steel town. And that's why Gary is still in such a precarious situation this day. The company pretty much built the town, and then when the company downsized, everybody that originally worked there moved to different places when they downsized the steel plant, and new people moved in. And that's the story of Gary and countless other areas in America. Yeah, that's why I tell people from Florida, often people from Florida, and I understand this, they're just making conversations. I'm not faulting anybody. It's just a normal conversation. They'll be like, hey, I live in Florida, it's 86 degrees. We piss on all you people in Chicago. And I understand that. They're taunting us for our weather. But I'm like, would you live in Florida in the summertime without air conditioning? And no one will ever answer that question. Or even wintertime, you need air conditioning. I think that the high for Miami is going to be 86 today. I'm sure you need to run the air conditioner during the day, possibly even at night to sleep. That's okay. Isn't modern technology great? Refrigeration, all these things we take for granted. Indoor plumbing. Imagine what these streets looked like when there were hundreds and thousands of horses pooping on the street all the time. In the old days, there was horse crap everywhere. City stunk. City still stinks. But hey, how about that Wiener Circle hot dog giveaway? That was fun. Thanks for checking that out. See, you need to distract yourselves with general amusements there. Yeah, have a great day there. Tea time, tea-line tea time. Yeah, Grandma, no ice skating. Yeah, be careful. Okay, yeah, so the old Pippins, we'll go by there. So the old Pippins is gone. The new Pippins, it moved around the corner. Pippins is a bar. I used to go there, you know, I've been going there since the 1990s, but I stopped drinking around 2008. So I think around the time of the pandemic, they They moved. See, this used to be Pippin's. There was a nice little bar at the bottom. And remember the restroom, at least the men's restroom, it was really tiny. It was like the smallest trough. You were like bumping pelvises with the guy next to you trying to take a leak. It was too close, you know, but here's the, that's too much information, I know. There's the old Pippin's. There's the old Pippin's, the bar there, but it moved around the corner. It's on Chicago Avenue at Wabash, so it's like less than a block away. There's the one Chicago Tower. This used to be Pippin's. See, there's Devil Dogs. Devil Dogs is a chain. It's the hot dog chain all throughout the city. This is Rush Street still. This is Rush and Chicago. And the reason I usually never go to this block is we usually walk over and film the water tower. And we'll still see the water tower. We'll head, yeah, let me get across the street here. Usually this is a long light here, so it doesn't last long. Hey, there's the lights. There's the water tower. This is looking south on Rush Street. This is looking west on Chicago. There's the Chicago Bus. There's the water tower and Water Tower Place Tower. Yeah, please subscribe and like. Thanks everybody. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up there. If you like this content, hit the thumbs up. Allows more people to find this content. Hey, look at the balloons. Yeah, nice plates there. Huh. There's the water tower, Canada Goose, Park Hyatt. There's the John Hancock, the old Playboy buildings there. John Hancock Water Tower. That's the the Ritz-Carlton's in that white building. Chicago, Illinois, 24 degrees, 7:40 a.m. We're about to hit Michigan Avenue, and I'm going to head to work because I work on Michigan Avenue. People are like, "Well, you're always on Michigan Avenue." I said, "I work on Michigan Avenue. You should go other places." I'm like, "I do. And just every day I got to go to my job, you know." So, hey, Michigan Avenue. We'll be back by here after dark tonight, after 5 o'clock. We'll check out the lights and the decorations here on Michigan Avenue. Window displays. This is Ralph Lauren. Yeah, Chirac. Welcome to Chirac. Hey, I reposted that. We wondered if this would happen. Somebody thankfully captured one of those little Coco. It wasn't Coco, it was the competitor. It's the ones with the bigger wheels. Those little robots that drive around and deliver your groceries. And it was in the snow, and it got to... This just happened after the snow. I'll try to capture this as well. There was a bunch of slush and snow blocking the corner of the street, and the Coco couldn't make it up the handicap ramp because of the snow, and it was spinning its wheels. So the guy was filming it, and he was trying to help it out. But as we know, when you get close to those things, they shut down. And he was trying to push it, and the wheels went. He goes, "I'm trying to help you out." And eventually, he pushed it enough where it could keep going. And then he flipped it off. He really doesn't like the Cocos, but you feel empathy for it. That's humans. We personify like a human emotion onto these little robots. And then that's why I watched that Steven Spielberg movie AI that came out around 2000, because it explores how humans will start resenting the AI robots, because it happened in Blade Runner too, where if you're a replicant or if you're a human, and you know, if the artificial intelligence, people will deal with the Coco as long as it looks like an R2-D2 robot, and they'll treat it like a pet. But if it gets smarter than us and looks like a human, we'll consider it a rival. And there'll be like the battle between the AI robots and the humans. And that's Terminator. So there's reasons all these movies exist, and we're starting to enter the period where this technology is starting to be an implement in society. It's freaking us out. And it'll be used for war. It'll be used to blow up ships in the middle of the ocean. A robot will blow you up, and you'll be like, what corporation created this robot? How you doing there? Yeah, good memories. Yeah, Kentucky, you missed your hometown there, but hey, thanks for tuning in. That's why we do this, so people can just tune in, check. You know, most of my audience, they're worried mothers and fathers. Their kids are going to college in Chicago, where they got a lot of nice universities here, and they're worried about their children in the big bad city, so they tune into me to reassure them that this place, despite all our problems and crime and expensiveness and crazy politics, that it's not as bad as the media makes it look. It's not a war zone. It's not a hellscape. It's just like a winter wonderland here. Here's the Patronus Staggers, the Harry Potter store in Chicago. Hey, look, they got the owls in the tree. I see someone was talking about that. I missed that. They got the owls. There are real snowy owls in Montrose Beach. I think Jody GTV or somebody caught them. There's the Harry Potter story. This is on Michigan Avenue south of Huron Street. There's the telephone booth. Man, we got Christmas lights here. We got snow. Yeah, thank you. Chicago isn't even in the top 10 dangerous. I know, but perception, we're in the top 3. If you would ask an average American or people outside the country, they said, what's the most dangerous cities? They would probably say Chicago's the worst, and they would probably say New York and LA, which by statistics, we're the largest city, so we're going to have the worst statistics because we got the most population. But then there's other areas that are overlooked, like, and I like these cities. I like all these cities. Like, I like New Orleans. I like Memphis. I like St. Louis. They statistically, per capita, they have much worse crime rates than New York, Chicago, or LA. But we got greater population, so that's how it is. But here's Michigan Avenue. We got Wednesday, the December the 3rd. We got 7:49 in the a.m. I'm walking to work. Michigan Avenue. We just crossed Erie Street. This is the giant Starbucks, the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. 4 levels of coffee drinking, and they got a bar on the top, and you get scones and whatever else. Yeah. What's shaking everybody here? Grim Evil's tuning in? Yeah, the old sociological research. There you go. See, it's more the perception versus reality. And perception can kill the tourism of your city more than the reality. But you got to pay attention to it. There's a reason the perception exists. And it's true for Chicago. Chicago has a long history of being a dangerous place, back to Prohibition, back to the 1800s. It was dangerous in the 60s. It was dangerous in the 90s. It's dangerous now. It'll be dangerous after I'm long and gone, you know. And what are you and I doing to help it make it any different? It's hard. It's easy to complain. I complain all the time too. Making it better is hard. There's you can elect any politician that'll say he's got an easy, simple solution to every complex problem, and then a year into their administration they run out of ideas, and then the scandals hit. And it happens no matter the left and the right. It doesn't matter. You know, we bounce back and forth, and we still got inflation. Price of turkey's still up. Hey, look at these nice Christmas decorations here. Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Heading to work here, 24 degrees, 7:50 in the a.m. At least we got the holidays. Yeah, happy holidays from Chicago. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. What else we got here? Hey, Grim Evil, Krampus Day's coming up. What's December 5th? It's December 5th, Krampus Day. We'll try to go to the Kris Kringle Market, see if they got information about Krampus Day. That's Santa's evil twin there. I know Grim Evil sent me in Germany and Europe, like up in the Alps, they actually have like a festival where everybody dresses up like Krampus, this horn guy. You know, I grew up with stories, you know, if your kids aren't good, the boogeyman's going to get you. Well, Krampus is like the boogeyman. He catches bad kids and he beats them with a stick. And in worst case, he kidnaps the kids and throws them in his basket. And who knows where he takes them or what he does with them. Krampus, it's horrible. And he's Santa's evil twin. And so Santa brings gifts to the kids, and Krampus beats them up. So it's all about to keep the kids good, you know. Like Santa's the reward, and Krampus is the punisher. You better be good, or Krampus will get you. Yeah, it's very clean. They clean off the sidewalks. Sometimes it looks nasty when all the snow starts to melt and all you're left with is the dirt and grime and the dog pee. But the snow will melt and there'll be a bunch of dog turds frozen in there, you know. That's what it is. But here, Michigan Avenue, 752. Yeah, good and evil. Yeah, it's allegories about good and evil. Yeah, that punishment, you know, punishment and reward. Punishment and reward. How much of our childhood was about that, even in schools, you know. Punishment and reward. This will go on your permanent record. You get a demerit. Yeah, we're hitting a rough spot. So, what else is going on there? Yeah, so we crossed Grand. So you see the Nordstrom Mall. You can type in the Nordstrom Mall. Grand Avenue goes underneath the Nordstrom Mall, and this is where Michigan Avenue starts to raise, and there's streets underneath us. And there was a railroad track. After they implemented the Burnham Plan, they raised Michigan Avenue so there wouldn't be an at-grade crossing, but then they stopped using that railroad track after World War II. They still used it, I guess. The Tribune used to bring stuff over this way, but they stopped taking stuff to Navy Pier. And really, when they built the Lake Point Tower, there was supposed to be a railroad terminal there to intermodal from. They were going to use Navy Pier for shipping, but it really didn't. You know, the railroads and the interstate highway system killed that, and so they built a residential building where it was supposed to be a railroad terminal that railroad connected to, and that's why there was an easement there. Here's Illinois Street in Michigan, Chicago, Illinois. We're almost to the Chicago River. We're heading south. That's looking towards the lake. That's Lake. It's Streeterville. This is the loops that way. This is North Michigan Avenue. And this is the Tribune Tower. This is the Intercontinental Hotel. Used to be the Medina Athletic Association. It's got a pool on the 17th floor. Yeah, if I'd stay in any hotel, I'd stay in this one just for the pool. Here's the they got the stuff from the Great Pyramid of Egypt in this building. They took pieces of bricks and stuff from all over and stuck them in this building. See, St. Peter's in Rome. We stole some from St. Peter's, Pompeii, Bath. There's Nathaniel Hale. Hey, look at the Charles Schwab building there. That's the old Realtor building that Bob Newhart worked in. That's the old Bob Newhart building there on Michigan Avenue. There's the Tribune Tower in Chicago. Look at the beautiful door here. And so, remember when the WGN radio station had their radio broadcast booth here on the corner? You could see the live broadcast. This is going to be a German watchmaker that's having a storefront here. What an amazing location for a storefront here. I got the nice garland there. There's the NBC Tower. And here's the Wrigley Building. There's the Plaza of the Americas with Benito Juarez statue. There's the Wrigley Building. The clock tower still works. Here's all the snow piled up. Here's your snow in Pioneer Plaza. There's the beautiful Venice skyscrapers. The Jewelers Building, Mather Tower, London House, 333 North Michigan. Used to be able to see the top of the carbon carbide building, but they blocked it with that new residential building. There's Jack Brick House. So we still haven't gone inside this. I assume this is just like pop-up shops for Christmas stuff. It's probably an expansion of the Kris Kringle Market. Here's the Christmas tree, Pioneer Plaza. That's the Aon building behind it. I'm missing all the comments. There's the Christmas tree for the Wrigley Building. We'll go by it tonight, and we'll see how it looks here lit up at night. We walk right back through this area after 5 o'clock when I get out of work, so we'll check out this Christmas tree. I don't know if we'll get over here at lunchtime. I don't even know if it's open yet. It should be. Why would they not have it open and have it sitting there? Here's the, during the day. Here's the Apple Store, the Chicago River. There's the St. Regis, Aqua, Genie Gang, Aon. Mies van der Rohe designed this. It's the Illinois Architecture Center's there. Illinois Center. And there's the Wrigley Building in Chicago. Very nice. So, if you want me to check out the Riverwalk, I'll go down the stairs at lunchtime. At lunchtime, we'll check out the Kris Kringle Market. We'll check out the Riverwalk and the Bean. And I got to go to work. I don't have to be working till 9, but I usually start at 8 o'clock so I can get out of there at 5 and take an hour at lunch. I got so many reruns where we walk on the Riverwalk. So please check out my content. I'm sure just type in Brian Riley Chicago Riverwalk. Literally hundreds of videos will pop up both on YouTube and TikTok. And you can watch me walk down those stairs. It just won't be live. And thanks for checking out my content. Thanks for checking out Chicago. We're crossing the river here. This is the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge. And here's the Chicago River looking towards the lake. There's the Sheridan Hotel Lowe's. This is looking the other way. Yeah, there's a beautiful river walk. And there's the Trump Tower. Second tallest building in Chicago. There's the Wrigley Building. There's the 3 bus. There's the drawbridge, Basquiat Bridge. They raise and lower these bridges in the Yeah, thank you. I'm just walking to work here, Robert. This is my daily commute to work. Look how I'm multitasking. I turned what I do normally. I've been walking, taking a bus, taking a train for 26, 27 years here in Chicago. And now I just get the live stream to talk to all you guys. I'm your weather, time, and temp on the street. And we're just wasting electrons here. I'm making everybody cover their face. Look, Chicagoan wearing shorts, 20 degrees. That's how we do in Chicago. Shorts weather. Very nice. There's the Chicago Architecture Center. We'll get in there later this winter. We got reruns on that. But hey, there's the here. I'll be able to look at the comments here a second. I'm gonna wait for the light to change. Here's the Wrigley Building, and there's the Tribune Tower. Yeah, it looks snowy because it is snowy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the guy either. You know, believe me, that building draws all kinds of reactions. I have to walk past it, and people, if I don't film it, people are like, film the tower, say his name. And then if I don't film the tower, or if I do film the tower, it angers people on the other side. And I agree, because I'm not a fan of the current administration either. And never have been. I was consistent. I didn't like it the first time, and I didn't like it the second time. And don't think I'm crazy for Biden either. I made fun of Biden too. You know, it's just we're in this situation where we're bouncing from the left to the right. And most Americans are in the center. We're just angry and want inflation to come down. You know, that's it. You know, a lot of it just ties to that. You know, that's more of a Federal Reserve, Wall Street problem. If you don't think Wall Street has an effect on your life, it does. Because the Federal Reserve has an effect on your life, because they set the price of money and what the cost of money is for borrowing. Here's the Mather Tower, London House. They got a roof deck up there. We got views of that. This is Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 24 degrees. 8 o'clock on the dot. So I'm gonna get to work here. That's great. That's fine if you voted for Trump. A lot of my relatives voted for Trump. That's America. America. When have Americans ever agreed about anything? It's your right to vote for him, and you know I want America to succeed. You know, democracy's hard. Not every, and people can dissent. We got to agree to disagree, and we'll get through this. You know, America's bigger than any president. You know, I don't care. You know, most of the time you're just waiting for the next one. Yeah, who's dumping trash out in the street? Yeah, don't be dumping trash out in the street. Yeah, I'll be late to work. Late to work. Here's the wind. Yeah, have a great work day there. Thanks everybody here. And yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks Shauna. Thanks Grandma's Corner, everybody. Thanks Mary Therese and everybody else. Ernesto came on last night. Check out Ernesto Chicago Nuggies. Check out Steve Lyon. Check out Jennifer You Should Eat. Jay City Walking Girl. Keys Carter. All these great Chicago live streamers. Alexander Chicago was at the Lincoln Park Zoo last night. So was Jose the day before. Jose Mujica. There's the Wrigley Building. I'm sure I'm leaving a lot of people out here. Nick Koiken and Overtime Seb was at the Bean last night. Nick Koiken was on the Riverwalk. He's back from San Francisco. I was afraid Nick Koiken's going to move to San Francisco. That's a beautiful town. I would love to do some live streaming in San Francisco. I'm glad he did it. And he gave us some nice overviews there. Thanks for checking out his channel. And everybody else is here, Chicago live streamers. I saw Lux, Chicago Vistas, she was streaming. She streams a lot, which is great. So hey, I'm sure you can find some other Chicago live streamer walking right now. So I'm going to head to work. Thanks mods, thanks everybody else. If I missed your question or if I missed your donation, if people donated money, thanks for your gifts, likes, and follows. This all goes into the pot there. And I know I miss comments. It's frustrating when you ask a question and people don't see it. I have the same problem. And it's just, this is more of a broadcast, like a radio station. And my moderators can answer a lot of the questions, and I defer to them. Thanks everybody. It was a team effort here. You know, I think if you're running a TV station or a news program, it's not just one person. It's the whole staff, produce the people that write the news. It's not just the person reading the news. I'm like a one-man band here, trying to do everything and not trip and fall. And break my head here on the ice. So hey, have a great day here from Chicago. We'll see you later. I got to get to work here, so we'll see you at lunchtime, noon to 1. We'll check out the Kris Kringle, and we'll check out the Riverwalk and the Bean and see more snow. So have a great day. We'll see you later. Thanks everybody for watching. Hey, 342 people. Thanks for checking out YouTube. Watch the reruns there. We'll talk to you later.